Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, Season 3, Episode 9 for January 9th, 2024. Yep, still 2024. Had to check the calendar. Tonight we're going to be talking about no discrete graphics card needed, Peregrine Lunar lander confirms propulsion, AI-generated novel wins competition, tiny Lenovo Bot, interactive broadcast, best in strange tech at CES 2024, Sushi is threatened, fastest swimming insect, solving food access, and amazing UK castles. I'm Mayor Watt, that's ohmTown.com, and up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI. You want to say hi? Guess not.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
Is that the Wi-Fi 6 versus Wi-Fi 7 latency?
I think so.
Let's get into the show. Hello again. We're on the other side of the little intro, and we're just going to get straight into today's articles. The very first article. It's over in Reality Hacker, which is a new weekend show at 8, 7-ish, sometime after ohmTown Daily, which is on at 6. Although at the end of this month, there's going to be a problem because Mayor Watt needs to... There is various mayoral duties that Mayor Watt has to go off and do, and we're going to have one of those issues. So I won't be able to do the show. But that said, I'm doing a show today. This one is in the Reality Hacker channel. AMD's new CPU lets you play Cyberpunk without a graphics card. AMD just announced its latest desktop APU, dubbed the Ryzen 8000G. Are these processors sufficient for games? Well, according to Monica J. White, who put this article together, AMD is saying that it's possible. AMD just revealed its new lineup of desktop APUs with built-in graphics at CES 2024, the Ryzen 8000G series. According to AMD, the Ryzen 8000G lineup can run AAA titles without requiring a GPU, a discrete GPU. Will these CPUs really rival some of the best processors when it comes to graphics performance? Here's everything that we need to know. So they provide some more information about these 8000 series or 8000G series processors. They have the graphics processor built into it. Why did my music stop?
That's a good question.
Okay. Well, anyway, equipped with AMD's Radeon 700M graphics, so these are the mobile. These chips combine a CPU with GPU, and AMD claims that the integrated graphics can compete against some of the most popular discrete graphics cards. Well, I'm sure. I'm not sure which generation, but compete. Anybody can compete. Can they compete at the same level? It's a different animal. So they talk about the cores and the threads. So 8 cores, 16 threads, 2 threads per core, etc. The amount of cache. The difference between one processor and another is typically the number of cores and threads and the cache, not to mention the base frequency. So this is when it's normal, standard base frequency, how fast the processor is, and then when it's at its max, because nowadays they can ramp up to be performance, but then you can overclock them depending on if they are capable of being overclocked. These would probably spontaneously combust. And so they have these little charts here that walk you through it. It says that they can play Cyberpunk 2077 on a Ryzen 7 8700G at 1080p, but it's on low settings. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is a pretty demanding game. Before I go on, though, let me throw this into the chat. So if you are in chat, you can actually follow the link to ohmTown, and we can talk about it. So I'm not sure if I said, did I say digital trends? I know that I said
I don't
Monica.
think so.
So this article is over at digitaltrends.com by Monica J. White. And I thought I said Monica White said that AMD says that, yeah, you can. And I'm sure it's not unique. AMD has had integrated graphics before. So in fact, I had one person who kept having problems with a computer, and we were kind of blown away. So we were like, okay, go get a different graphics card, and they didn't have a graphics card. And so I had to use one of my graphics cards, put it in their machine, same problem. And so a compatriot of mine said, it's probably the power supply. So they went and got a new power supply. It turned out to be the power supply, causing, when the discrete graphics card powered up, it would shut everything down. So these discrete graphics cards are a wear and tear on pretty much a system, drawing more power, requiring more power, ever more power as time goes on. And so if you can get one that's integrated, it still fits the bill. You can do some games with it. You're not going to be competing at the highest levels of gaming. But as long as you get the job done, I think that's really what's important here.
Well, what does that mean for updates, though? I mean, do you have to replace your entire computer?
For these processors, if the motherboard that you own is compatible with the chip, then the CPU, then no, you don't. But I'm not sure what it said. I don't remember what the socket is for this. So yeah, I mean, it's been and nowadays I just use iBuyPower to make my machines. I don't build them anymore. And then I do the due diligence necessary to actually advise if I'm going to go and advise somebody on something. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. It's Zen 4, so you have to have a Zen 4 compatible motherboard. So yeah, there's a potential that you would have to. It really depends on what you've got. So there you go, folks. AMD's new CPUs let you play Cyberpunk without a graphics card. Yeah. And I can fly. It just happens to be straight down.
Hmm.
You might not want to take my advice. So the next article is over on Reality Hacker. First image from Peregrine Lunar Lander confirms issue. This is on this other page. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be there because we see the snippet and we don't typically go and read the articles, but we have some experience with this. We actually have been talking about this in past episodes. This is the first image beamed back by Astrobotic's Peregrine spacecraft. It provides the first visual evidence of a propulsion system anomaly. Trevor Mogg over at digitaltrends.com put the article together, and it looks like, wow, it looks like one of the supports is bent and there's some deformation. I'm not sure what's going on here. Why does it look like the beginning of a letter N? Weird.
Yeah, that's odd.
So I don't know what's really going on here, but let me do something. Astrobotics confirmed on Monday evening that the Peregrine lander will not be able to make it to the lunar surface. In a post on social media, it said that an ongoing propellant leak is causing the spacecraft's thrusters to operate well beyond their expected service life cycles to keep the lander from uncontrollable tumble. It added that based on the current rate of fuel consumption, the spacecraft's thrusters could continue to operate for about 40 more hours, adding at this time, the goal is to get Peregrine to as close to lunar distance as we can before it loses the ability to maintain its sun pointing position and subsequently loses power. That's kind of a bummer. So the mission to put the first American commercial robotic lander on the moon got off to a perfect start early on Monday with a smooth launch aboard the United Launch Alliance's brand new Vulcan Centaur rocket from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I actually watched that. But hours later, Pittsburgh-based Astrobotics confirmed that a failure within the spacecraft's propulsion system had caused a critical loss of propellant. Yeah, if you look at the picture, it looks like something is bent right there, and there's deformation around this. So I suspect they're going to come to the conclusion that it was just too forceful of a launch.
Yeah, it looks like when you crunch up an aluminum can or something.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. And I'm not sure. I think I've read already that NASA's now suspending. They're delaying it, and they don't know anymore when it's going to, because the window for this had to daisy chain together. So I'm not sure. We may end up talking about it at a later date. So despite the setback, Astrobotic continue to plan for the launch of the Griffin mission later this year, but Griffin is the largest lunar lander since the Apollo lunar module and will carry NASA's Viper, or the Volatiles Investigating Polar Exploration rover. Hopefully this time nothing gets bent out of shape. So Trevor Mogg over at Digital Trends. There is more over at this article, so be sure to follow the link, please. And
we hope they don't get bent out of shape in any sense.
That's right. What was that? There's there's a saying, remain flexible so you don't get bent out of shape.
Oh, right. We saw that near
ohmTown.
ohmTown.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Talk about borderline doxing. Hey, the next article is over in Temporology, which is the study of time and time travel, the science and science fiction thereof. AI-generated novel wins Chinese competition as we march steadily towards AI sentience in the 21st century. The Jinan Times reports that the AI-generated novel Land of Memories by Shen Yang was a winner of the Jiangsu Youth Popular Science Fiction Competition. Dun, dun, dun. So I had to fix that because it says Popular Science Fiction Competition. So is it?
It seems like a lot of science going on.
Lots of science. There's a lot of science. Held by the Jiangsu Science Writers Association. There must be some translation thing. I mean, just throwing science around. I got it on me. I got some science on me. Hold on. The competition rules did not ban the use of artificial intelligence, and the novel was awarded second place. That's not winning. That's getting in second place. And I will not have second places highlighted in ohmTown articles.
Wow, I guess no participation awards here.
There is only first place and then losers. Remember that, children. Remember that, children. There's only first place and then losers. Pardon me. I have a evil-looking cat that I need to go and stroke. And mincing my hands. Oh, ASMR.
Evil something ASMR.
Evil hand mincing ASMR. 10 hours of that, folks. Spin it up. Go ahead. Anyway, the article is over at locusmag.com. This is a new one to ohmTown, but it's a science fiction fantasy magazine. The text of the novel was written entirely by AI, with some editing by Yang. Competition judges reported mixed opinions on the novel's quality, and at least one easily recognized the prose as being machine generated. Shin has stated that he plans to make public the process he used to generate the novel so that others may follow his lead. Neat. So if you're interested in this stuff, here, first off, let me throw this.
Plus, we don't get that much in the temporology channel, so this was also
That was a new
neat.
one, and it crosses
I wonder
over.
if this story was about time travel.
I don't know. There is, you can see the story from South China Morning Post, but no. Let's just keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Let me grab it while I'm doing the intro. There you go. Lenovo made a tiny robot that sits on your laptop like a webcam. The Magic Bay robot.
Is it named Parrot?
I'm not sure. Let's find out. Concept adds a touch of friendliness to your laptop or desktop. Oh my. All right. It looks like somebody took a Nest thermostat and gave it little eyes.
Yes, and it looks like kind of an old school cartoon character or something inside it.
Yeah, the sad robot from
I can't think of what it's from.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of it. Gosh. I cannot believe this. I'm gonna have... Why is my music not playing? Hold on. We're doing it all live. Forget it. We're going with the flow here.
I mean, is it from Wally?
No. Doggone it. It's Marvin. Doggone it. The paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Doggone it, man.
Oh.
You ever... Just so weird. Anyway, Lenovo's Magic Bay robot concept adds a touch of friendliness to your laptop or desktop. This is over at CNET. Lisa Edichico. There you go, Edichico. Wrote the article. It's a concept accessory the PC giant showed off Lenovo at CES 2024. Doesn't do much more than blinking and smiling for now, but the company sees potential for it to possibly be an adorable personal assistant that sits atop your robot, in yet another indication that tech giants are experimenting with new ideas for AI-powered gadgets and accessories. It seems cool, but really? They better add some functionality. It says it's considering adding more functionality to the Magic Bay robot, such as a speaker and microphone so that it can serve as a voice-enabled assistant. That means you might be able to ask the Magic Bay robot what's next on your calendar or change a setting on your computer. Since it's just a concept, it's unclear how its functionality would differ. It's pretty neat. Kind of just sits there. Turn it into a camera, so at least you're interacting with something. Put a little screen. It's a little screen, so why not put the person you're talking
to display something? Yeah,
put the person's face right there and use AI to grab it and throw it in there so that their face is always present right there. You're talking to the person. That's one of the problems that I have. I actually want to do a giant teleprompter on a 34-inch monitor, and use a two-way mirror so that it allows me to look through the mirror to that camera that's right in front of me. But that piece of glass is about $800 all by itself. So Mayor Watt can't get the budget for that.
Very affordable.
Yeah, very approachable for everybody. And that's just the glass, not the apparatus that's necessary to keep it at the right angle and to prop it up in the right location height-wise. And then I have to readjust everything else because, well, I won't get into it, but yeah, it just kind of becomes a hot mess. Let me throw this over to the next article. Let's keep going. This article is over in ohmTown Daily. The author of this, over at The Verge, just watched the first interactive broadcast TV channel in the United States. So if you happen to live in Las Vegas and have a TV with ATSC 3.0 tuner, then for the next few days, there will be a new channel on your TV. At first, the Roxy channel just appeared to play music videos, but when you hit the pause button on your remote, the TV pauses, despite being a broadcast channel. There's no DVR.
Is this kind of like what you see when you're watching something through streaming, except this isn't streaming?
This isn't streaming, correct. So yeah, that's exactly it. So the deck statement says Roxy has developed tech that lets you watch music videos on its interactive broadcast TV channel, and it could help save broadcast TV. Alex Kranz is the author over at The Verge for this piece, and I find it pretty interesting. It's something that's been central to the promise of ATSC 3.0, and Roxy thinks it's finally delivering. Roxy CEO Rob Lewis knows a bit about music streaming. In the 2000s, he was CEO of Omnifone, one of the first music streaming companies, back when Nokia was still the phone du jour.
Ooh, was this in the flip phone days?
Or the brick.
Oh, right.
So he founded Roxy in 2014, so it's 10 years old. Found a way to make music streaming easier, and he quickly collected a roster of famous investors, including Sheryl Crow, Robbie Williams, Stephen Fry. Now he's focused on improving ATSC 3.0 because, in practice, it kind of sucks if your market has channels that support it, and if you have an ATSC 3.0 tuner, your TV will get better quality video and audio, and apparently have the ability to do pause and maybe interact. I think it's kind of interesting. The app is on the TV only, and as long as you're on the channel, when you flip to another channel, it goes away. Called a transitory app. Wow, that's interesting. So this whole feed is accomplished by using a technology that Lewis calls Fast Stream, which temporarily downloads an app to the TV, which right now the security researcher in me says, no way in hell is this thing connecting.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I can pump the brakes right there on that, at least in terms of it being applied to anybody's computer, or not computer, but their TV, wherein I'm the consultant of choice. I will definitely be telling them this poses a concern. And some people may not give a shit and go ahead and load it up. And others will lean into, well, I would, personal security, my cybersecurity, privacy is not dead. And I'm taking it back. So that's probably why Sinclair partnered with Roxy. Sinclair currently owns about 40% of the broadcast TV market in the United States. And given the state of broadcast TV, it's on borrowed time. Yeah, it's all moving over to streaming.
So isn't this interesting timing? Like, I mean, okay, it's probably trying to compete with streaming, but if broadcast is on its way out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the horse of yesteryear. So at some point, they're just going to have to call it quits. It'll be technology that's used for something else, which has happened in the past, like a beeper technology. If I recall correctly, beeper technology is now the WhisperNet for Amazon Kindles. So data flows through this quiet little broadcast, but it's the subsection of bandwidth that nobody has wanted. And now it uses the internet in general, but WhisperNet is still a thing. If I recall correctly, it's been a long time since I even bothered looking at a Kindle's information back end. I'm pretty sure that it's now just Wi-Fi and transfers like that. But Kindles and even Twitter was using older tech to power itself and then switched to the standard internet backbone type of technology. Well, yeah, I think this is DOA before it even gets out the door. So,
Well, I also wonder how many things are actually enabled for ATSC. Maybe a lot, but
right.
that's another thing. If that goes away, then
To me, it depends on if the market is there. How many people even know the amount of education and the technology lift is pretty hefty? Why? Because I either have to have another device or I have to upgrade the one that I have that doesn't have ATSC 3.0, that version, or better as it evolves. Yeah, I don't see it, but that's okay. I mean, somebody's got a big enough business that they've been doing it for 10 years, getting investors, getting entrenched. It's awesome. Good on them. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. Let's just see where it goes. It's definitely not for Mayor Watt. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. The best and strangest tech that they found at CES 2024. This is from Washington Post, which I rarely highlight anymore because they have this paywall that gets a little aggressive. Unpacking what's new at one of the world's biggest tech trade shows is a dizzying experience, so leave it to us. This is, again, Washington Post. The Washington Post at washingtonpost.com. They left off the, which...
They also left off the Ohio State.
The Ohio State, but not the Washington Post. Anyway, seeing everything that there is to offer is nearly impossible, but we're trying anyway. Chris Velezco is the author of this article. We saw this, or I saw this. I think we saw this on another article. This little thing just kind of bumbles around and apparently can spit out a 1080p display that you can mess around with, interact with as another monitor. I suppose this is
the kind of robots that we need.
Right, not on the not. I don't want anything in the uncanny valley or on the other side of the uncanny valley, because if I can't tell the difference, I'm gonna start questioning reality. Oh, that's a good name for a show, a reality hacker. You know,
it is.
That's on the weekends, folks. Be sure to follow us. Even if you spent the entire week combing through booths, you probably still wouldn't see every new gadget or hear every promise to deliver a more efficient, productive, fulfilled life. Some companies are close to living up to those claims. Others aren't even close, and telling them apart can be tricky at best. So I'm not going to go through all of these. This is the Rabbit R1, a tiny AI device that lets that uses your apps for you. Yeah, I'd rather not. So let AI use your apps for you. The tiny handheld gadget isn't meant to replace your smartphone, but it does want to prove that there's a better way to get things done. So apparently it's a walkie-talkie with a screen, $199 Rabbit R1. Just hold down the button, ask it something, say a recipe for an omelet or play a certain track, wait for it to respond, then admittedly doesn't sound all that interesting at first. The real draw is that the power is by a large action model, which means that it's been trained to interact with apps and services we commonly use anyway. All right. It's the badge thing, just apparently in your hand. You know, what was that thing called? I can't remember. Regret?
I don't know, like, but it looked like the Star Trek pin.
Yeah. So let's keep on going. Look and listen with Nuance glasses. There we go. These are the Nuance glasses that look like Ray-Bans, but maybe a little less expensive and not as stylish. The giant optics conglomerate EssilorLuxottica, everybody just calls it Luxottica, showed up at CES with a set of eyeglass frames that double as over-the-counter hearing aids for people with mild to moderate hearing loss. So that's cool. It's integrating, or convergence as it's known. The Nuance glasses, as they're called, use 6 built-in microphones and some software smarts to amplify whatever sound source you're looking at, whether it's your TV or your date over dinner, or for stalker purposes, or if you're a PI, you can wear them. Huh. How
well,
about
this
this
kind
one?
of goes to
Oh,
the
sorry.
thing we talk about, the smart glasses and everything. Like,
Mhm.
it's great till somebody starts using it for other purposes and recording people and things
That's
like
right.
that.
Yep. It gets a little creepy. So currently, it expects the basic set of Nuance frames to cost north of $1,000 when they go on sale toward the end of the year, though it's talking to insurance providers to see about making them more expensive. I mean, affordable. Making them more expensive to the insurance companies and then affordable to the people. Maybe I'm getting it all.
Wait, I think
The,
you might have that backwards.
yeah, the article actually says, though it's talking to insurance providers to see about making them more affordable. This next article is about another ring-like device that we have spoken about over the last 2 years. These little things kind of pop up and go. The Lotus Ring is like a wearable, almost universal remote meant for people with limited mobility. Lots of rings at CES want to monitor your health. This one, built by a startup called Lotus, was meant to control objects around your home. So you can basically tell it to do this, that, and the other. Turn off lights, turn on plugged in appliances, whatever you so choose. This is the little robot from Samsung. You basically can plop it somewhere and interact with it. It's supposed to be a TV or a screen. It says Bally, a rolling companion that's bigger and heavier than a bowling ball, will go on sale later this year, and when it does, it'll project movies and video calls onto walls, interact with smart appliances, keep tabs on your pets, and more. So a pet for my pet.
Right, it could keep your pet entertained.
Or traumatized. The Squeal. Ski everywhere on a pair of electric squeals. This is an insurance
I bet it
claim.
makes that sound.
This is the squeal you make right before you hit a car or something. In recent years, cars have expanded their presence at a show that used to be known for new televisions and PCs, but they're not the only way to get around. You could, for instance, strap on a pair of French motorized ski shoes and whiz around town at 50 miles per hour. If that sounds terrifying, it should. Commuter-grade electric shoes in the United States usually top out about 25 miles per hour. When cruising around on these four-wheel drive skis at a more reasonable 12 miles per hour, you can expect its set of batteries to carry you close to 20 miles. By the way, these are $2,700. Why would I not trust these things? Because look at the one wheel. That thing has claims about accidents where people, I don't want to say that people have met their demise, but I thought that that's what happened. I don't know anymore. So these are squeals, $2,700. There's more in each one of these little segments, by the way. So I know that there were like recalls because of it just spontaneously breaking, and anything that has an electric motor, unless it fails open and just acts as a pair of skis, this is bad, because as soon as the electric charge stops, if it locks up or creates a great amount of resistance in any way, yeah,
That could be a problem if you're trucking along pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is bad. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Sushi, threatened as popular ingredient biomass, halved since 1950. Populations of the beloved fish have declined, in particular in the Indian Ocean because of overfishing. Articles over at Newsweek.com. Robin White is the author. I didn't throw it into the chat. Doggone it. Come on, Merwatt. My music stopped again. What the heck?
I don't know.
Now, I'm not going to fix it now, but I am going to be annoyed and record that annoyance. So, yeah, let's continue. Robin White over at Newsweek.com put the article together. The yellowfin tuna is a common ingredient in some globally popular dishes, not just sushi. Sushi, though, is the rice, but
That's
also
true.
sashimi, poke bowls, and sandwiches. Apparently, it says that a beloved ingredient used in sushi could soon completely disappear if overfishing is not managed.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know what's going to happen. That's going to impact a lot of people.
decreased by 54% since industrial exploitation began in 1950. Well, what we have to do is just make yellowfin tuna not as popular. So, everybody, um, make lobster sushi the go to, because then you can just, everybody can just go down and get these little sea cockroaches. Um, now
So
it
we
has
can decimate the lobster population and then switch back to yellowfin tuna.
look, something has to get turned into sushi. It might as well be something in the water, right?
Yes, that's kind of the nature of it.
I won't try and eat coral anymore. I've found out the bad way that it hurts my teeth. Oh, and now that it's almost endangered everywhere because of climate change. We just can't win. Now it's come to light that the Indian Ocean has seen a huge drop, with the species declining by 70% in the past 7 decades, so 10% a year. I know that's not how the statistic probably works, but still, on average, 10%. Christina Heydrich. I did not do my German well, but I can't. I don't. Let me foam up a little. Christina Heydrich,
Is that your German ASMR?
um, lead author of the study and a PhD candidate at Sea Around Us. Okay. I can't. You got to get out of the way. I can't see around you. Oh, it's see around us, not see around yous. See around yous. Get out of the way. Indian Ocean, part of the School of Biological Sciences at the University of Western Australia. Oh, I needed to put an Australian accent on there. Said in a press release that recent years have seen greater decline. Uh, man, it just sucks. Why is the decline? Do they say in the article? No, not really. It's overfishing. That's what they say. Surpass the maximum sustainable yield. You know how you end up with uh what was the overfishing, or um what do they actually, do they call it overfishing?
They did.
So yeah, so you know how you overfish? It's overpopulation. It's over consumption. But if that's what people are making, like if that is the ingredient that everybody is using, then maybe we can use science to bolster the population. But I know how that works. At the end, it's going to be, hey, there's more of it, so let's pump out more of it so that we can make more money. And if we don't make as much, even though it's fresh for the morning, we have all this leftover, but it's so cheap because we can get it really easy. We'll just throw it out.
Right. I mean, that's even worse than fishing to begin with, is like the wastefulness of the uneaten fish.
Wasteful?
Is that even a word?
Or fishing? I mean, well, not in human lexicon. I mean, most human lexicon. Maybe in the future where you're from, but let's keep going. I thought this one was interesting. Fastest swimming insect could inspire uncrewed boat designs. When I first read this, I thought it said unscrewed boat designs because the propeller on a boat is called a screw. Whirligig beetles, the world's fastest swimming insect. Achieve surprising. I was trying to come up with a joke real fast and I couldn't. Achieve surprising speeds by employing a strategy shared by speedy marine mammals and waterfowl. Well, see, and there's another joke, but anyway, according to a new Cornell University study that rewrites previous explanations of the physics involved. All right. That almost sounds like a
Okay.
not the onion kind of a thing, right? Like they take something.
Exactly.
The article is over at phys.org. Krishna Ramanujan from Cornell University put the article together. I think this is a whirligig beetle. Looks like a
Doesn't that look
cockroach.
like a drone?
It actually looks so. You're probably not paying attention to this kind of stuff, but I always love a good conspiracy. And something has come out over the last week or so. I'm not sure exactly when it dropped, but there is a new UFO style that actually has been written about in history, called a glass octopus, I think it's called. And it changes its thermal temperature, its thermal range, and its tentacles just hang down. And it doesn't move, and it's not impacted by wind. It's all kinds of creepy, but anyway, and it was
That
recorded.
sounds very creepy.
Yeah, and what the heck is going on over there? Anyway, this thing looks like that. I'll show you after the show, but the centimeter-long beetles can reach a peak acceleration of 100 meters per second at a top velocity of 100 body lengths per second, or 1 meter per second. It's almost like I'm talking about a laser. Not only do the results explain the whirligig's Olympian speeds. Olympian? Wait. All right. Are they licensed to actually say Olympian in their article? I believe that
Oh, I don't know that they are.
Oh man. But they also offer valuable insights for bio-inspired designers of near-surface water robots and uncrewed boats. This is probably the most niche statement, Why don't they just tack on there on Tuesday at 4 p.m.?
Exactly. In this, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right there, AI. So the whirligig beetle, to achieve such fast swimming speeds, its legs need to push against the water at unrealistic speeds. It could have well been questioned, said Chris Rowe, assistant biological and environmental engineering professor. The fastest swimmer and drag-based thrust don't usually go together in the same sentence. And these two sentences
Don't
don't
normally
go
get put
together.
together ever.
Weird. Anyway, in fact, fast swimming marine mammals and waterfowl tend to forego drag-based thrust in favor of lift-based thrust, another propulsion system, hydroplaning. So let's see here. Works like a propeller. Lift-based thrust works like a propeller, where the thrusting motion is perpendicular to the water surface, eliminating drag and allowing for more efficient momentum, capable of greater speed. In biology, it's hard to rotate things. We're machines based on contraction. So you could say the whirligig's beetle legs are a partial propeller that rotates about an angle, and then they retract before they reset and rotate partially again. Okay, I have to play this. Okay. What? How is that any different than what humans do with their legs? These legs are just thicker, like wider, thinner. They're paddles. I don't know how they really rotate
Yeah,
either. Maybe
I
I'm
don't
missing
know.
something. So, yeah, they say it's like wings being tilted a little. The angle of attack allows it to actually generate lift, so it actually moves up through the water. Interesting.
I don't think that video did it justice, though.
No. Small size, ship-like shape, and lift-generating propulsion mechanism of whirligigs translate well to robotic ship designs. I can't imagine a ship having this floating, like happening underneath it. This is designed to fail mechanically. Biologically, all of these like restore themselves because they are living. And so if the exoskeleton starts to fail, it actually heals. You can't really do that with a boat.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of parts that where things could go wrong.
This is the ornithopter from Dune.
Exactly. Which is really cool, but probably not very practical.
Yeah, I don't know how it can do what it does, but all right. That's it. Let's keep on going to the next article. This next article is over in Semiotic Ontology. We basically have a really broad gamut of article today. Can hydroponic farms solve food access issues? This is apparently a quote. We know that a lot of people have difficulty accessing fresh fruits and vegetables, whether that's due to expenses, whether that's due to the fact that they may live in a food desert. So by having these produce items available on our farm markets trucks, we can help improve food access throughout Western New York. So adjacent to the shipping containers are large panel trucks with canopy windows that open outward like a food truck to create mobile farmers markets that can be driven to food deserts regardless of the weather. So if you've never heard of a food desert, it's basically a place where there aren't stores within reasonable distance. There, I can't remember what it's
I was
called.
going to say, if you haven't seen any produce, you might be in a food desert.
Yeah, you're in a. So I think it's something like 15 miles or something like that from your house if you're not within 15 miles. I can't remember what it's called anymore. But walking distance is really what it should be. That way you don't have to drive just to get to food. So adjacent to the shipping containers are large panel trucks. This article is actually, this is from a website called analyzingtrends.com, which tends to have a little snippet, kind of like ohmTown. They don't have a show, but the link actually connects you to wbfo.org and a article titled Can Hydroponic Farms Solve Food Access Issues on East Side, which is, they're talking about New York. And so Dave Debo over at WBFO, which is a NPR station, put this article together. There's a place called Feed More WNY in the parking lot of Feed More WNY headquarters on James E. Casey Drive. There are 2 large shipping containers, each with the capability of growing what would otherwise require from 2 to 6 acres of farmland. So our 40-foot container can grow 2 to 6 acres of farm.
I mean, it's definitely more efficient.
And because it's done in an enclosed place, it doesn't have predation. It doesn't have all kinds of waste in terms of water. It doesn't necessarily use soil, but this is hydroponic. So it's not going to use soil. It's growing it basically in these vertical towers that have little cups, grow cups.
You don't get lost due to weather events or pests.
Yep. Nearly everything comes out perfect every single time. And they're using something that I haven't seen yet. This looks like it's actually friction held. And so they can actually just walk up and place another one in there anytime they want, take this one out. They don't have to replace a cup or anything like that, which is, like I said, these net pots is what they're called. And then they use full spectrum lights to grow from one side to the other. It looks like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this is great. So a 40-foot container, they got a dry side and a wet side. They can just sit there and grow a full wall and have 100% crop recovery. Brilliant. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
I've never even seen this. And we do this. So not at this scale, but we do this here in ohmTown. The growing racks are stacked next to each other. similar to a bookshelf in a library with cranks that slot a lot more shelves into a smaller space. Does that really actually do that? So you can wait. Do these move over? And on the back of this is another set of grow
It
lights?
sounds like it, which is astounding.
The hell, that is amazing. Talk about grow density. Wow, that's exactly what it. I mean, they say similar to bookshelves in a library with cranks that slot more shelves into a smaller space opening them one at a time as needed for harvesting. That is brilliant. Yeah. So it's a total of 85 individual panels with the seedlings sit in, and then 3 double sided walls that have LED lights on the opposite side of the uh, crop. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is a really cool setup.
Yep. Yep. So, and light is supposed to have a certain distance from the panel to the crop. So there's optimal light density. And so as long as it gets within that right range, which is typically about a foot, then you don't get any crop burning, you don't get any drying out or anything. This is just brilliant. I love this. Um, so they talk about other things, but that's really what I wanted to talk about was the fact that um, there's a container out there, and this really should go broadband. Every community should have something like this within walking distance of a set population, so that people can just come to a place like this and buy their lettuce and other um, green goods. Man, that well, what I can't grow, you can't grow microgreens like this, just because of the way that they operate. But it would be tough to do it this way. Um, yeah, this is cool. I dig this. So feedmorewny.org if you're interested in that. Okay, let's keep on trucking. Wait. Kind of have to daisy chain through this one. So I'm going to throw this link and this other link in there. Okay, and our last article for today is 15 amazing UK castles you can actually stay in. There isn't much to this. I don't know if this is actually going to let me go through the whole thing. It's telegraph.co.uk. Charlotte Eggleston Johnstone, which you just can't get a
Kind of
better.
fits the article.
Yes, exactly. Yep. All right. That's exactly the right name for this article. Here it is in chat, so you can follow it. So let's go through this real quick. I won't go through all of them or read verbatim the article. From jousting tournaments. All right. I'll leave it. To resident ghosts, play out your medieval fantasies with our pick of the best castle hotels. So I can say right from the beginning that everything is going to be a little too ostentatious for me. I'm really not
And too
into
dark.
and too dark. Yeah. But you don't move into a castle so that everybody. Yeah. So this one is in England, Hever Castle. I've actually been looking to buy a castle that needs restoration. And so I keep looking around for them because you can, depending on where they are and your capabilities, you can restore them and live in them forever. This is it says 9 out of 10. Is that right? Or is this number 9 of 10? Hold on.
No, that's the rating.
That's the rating. Yeah, Telegraph expert rating. Okay. I swear I've actually seen this in the listing for sale. Hever Castle, 13th century double moated castle in Kent's High Weald. Was once the child home of Anne Boleyn, before later ending up in the hands of Anne of Cleves. As a guest, expect to come across historic items such as the executed Queen's prayer books and England's best collection of Tudor paintings after the National Portrait Gallery. Wow. Wait, that can't be right.
That's lodging.
I know, but that can't be right. Lodging here, right? Because it says you can actually
Hmm.
stay in it.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
probably is correct.
$152 a night to stay in a castle. All
You're
right.
not getting the whole castle. You're getting one room.
Yeah, I know, but look, you're on a little Raspberry Pi with an M.2. You can stay in my pocket. So that's really inexpensive. I won't charge you
Correct. So
152
you'll
a night.
save money for me.
Lumley Castle in Durham, County Durham, England. A
Well, that
pugnacious,
one's very low.
yeah, it's only $60. Wow. Pugnacious medieval knight called Ralph Lumley built this commanding castle that bears over the River Wear. Might be Ware, but probably pronounced Bob, damn it. Anyway, he was a bit of a troublemaker and executed for conspiring to overthrow King Henry IV. Well, if you're going to take a shot, take your best shot. Guess that didn't quite work out. It has modern windows, so 8. I agree. Those are like double pane, modern windows. Can't do that. How about Argyll Castle? Kirkby Stephen, Cumbria, England. Might be Stephen, but anyway, Argyll Castle is a rather histrionic testament to the power of sibling rivalry. Wow, somebody broke out their thesaurus. John Bagot Pearson, a gentleman of leisure and considerable means, built it in 1841 to outdo his brother, and because he could. The result is a splendid ensemble of steep turrets, sweeping mahogany staircases, and lattice windows as intricate as French lace. Oh, maybe it isn't. Is that the other one? Yeah, that's the other one. So this is the one that has French lace windows. Woo woo. Paint me
Very
like one of
fancy.
your French lace windows. $200 a night. So it's got a 9 out of 10 rating. Warwick Castle, which is one that I know I have seen somewhere. I wonder if it. Anyway. Warwickshire, England, 8 out of 10. You get much more than a bed for the night when you stay at Warwick Castle. Oh, really? Guests can pick from 2 chambers in Caesar's Tower, one being the Rose Suite, which once held King Edward IV and comes with a door to the battlements. Certain quirks from across 600 or so years of English history are visible in the castle's architecture and design, some of which date back to the 14th century as a Norman moat and Bailey Castle. All right. An all-day dining card. Other perks include a complimentary all-day dining card, but it's $239, so I don't think there's anything complimentary about it.
No. You better eat
Langley
a lot
Castle.
of food while you're there.
Langley Castle gets an 8 out of 10. That thing looks like, that is like thick. Wow. That is a beast. All right. But it's just ginormous. I wonder if it has an inner area, a courtyard, or if it's all filled in. And
All right.
wow. With its battlements and 7-foot thick walls, this 14th century castle is one of the last remaining British castle hotels that still has its original fortifications. That's cool. Expect
I wonder
exposed
how
stone
quiet
walls.
it is in there with those walls.
Probably very quiet until you're in a room, and then it's like one giant echo chamber. Like if somebody gets really loud in the room you're in, it's just going to stay sealed right in there. But you won't hear them, carrying on in one room if you're in another room. Parsnip voulette and paprika calamari and a bisque cream, or duck breast with confit potato in a spice bourgeois. My God. Well, okay. I need to end the show because I'm suddenly really hungry. I'm not quite sure why. It's only 140 a night, too, to stay in this. Let's see if we can take over the king, and we'll probably be beheaded. Anyway, Amberley Castle, Amberley, West Sussex, England. This is probably the most light and airy looking one. It's 8 out of 10. 60-foot high walls. 900-year-old castle began life as a hunting lodge in 1103 and became a fortified manor for 400 years, or for a manor house some 400 years later, passing through the hands of bishops and royalty and hosting the likes of Henry VIII. In 1526, they went through a lot of Henrys seeking divorce advice. Wow. And I'm not going to go through all of these. So there you go, folks. Let's go through them really fast. There's Leeds Castle. There's Star Castle Hotel. That looks cool. It's in the shape of a star. It has these little angles that pop out. That's neat. And so is its wall.
Yeah, that's cool.
Little star. Yeah, they worked really hard to get that. That's pretty cool. That one's 270 a night. And then in Scotland is Glenup Castle, Ballantrae, Ayrshire, Scotland. This looks like it just dominates the countryside. That's amazing. 342 a night. The Lucy Castle, Bonnyrigg, Midlothian, Scotland. This too looks like this is the kind of thing that you hear about. Somebody was murdered in that room right there during a murder mystery. You know, you hear the retelling of the story that somebody had met their demise. Only 118 a night. Inverlochy Castle in Fort William, Highlands, Scotland. Got a 9 out of 10, $410 a night. That almost looks like a storybook picture, like AI generated.
It does.
And then Castell Daedruth in Portmeirion, Gwynedd, Wales. Honestly, this doesn't look very attractive to me. But I wouldn't turn it down if I was the heir to this. A Liberal MP built this early Victorian castle on a private peninsula in the Snowdonia coast. This is where you find a cupboard and you end up in another dimension. Chateau Rianfa. This is where Rihanna goes to get away from it all. Just kidding. I have no idea. And then there's more. So go check this out. I'm just going to scroll. It says 15 amazing castles, but I swear we've probably hit 30. Let's just keep going. So that's it. Thank you very much, folks, for coming to ohmTown Daily for January 9th, 2024. We are all set. So let's get back into the party bus. Drive all the way back down Main Street. There's the little logo. You want to keep mashing that, or if you are interested in a particular topic, you can go into any of these. There's 6 main categories and 50 sub-channels in there, all where news gets funneled into all day long. Just hang out at ohmTown.com. All the news, none of the noise. I'm Mirwatt. That's ohmTown.com, and up there is the AI that's going to say bye.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Anything else? No? I feel like there's lag.
There's nothing else, but there is definitely lag.
All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.